Well, hey YouTube, wanted to bring you all an update as to what all is going on with our car situation, and as you have probably already figured out, we do have a new car in the family. This replaces our 2012 Jaguar XF. This is a 2015 Range Rover Sport, Land Rover, Range Rover Sport, whatever you want to call it. Everybody says it differently. This one is finished in the Fuji white exterior with the Santorini black top. And the black top is really what sold us on this particular car. So taking a look at the wheels, actually we'll jump inside and start it up first. So here's the key for the car. It's basically the exact same key we had on the Jag, just a different design. This Range Rover portion here slides off in order to give you access to the actual key blade. You have your lock, unlock, light, and power trunk. So, of course, in typical Jaguar, in any smart key fashion really, keep the key in the car, foot on the brake, push the engine start button. We'll go ahead and flip on the automatic headlights, the front and rear fog lights, as well as the hazards. Roll the window down too. And I'll do a more formal video on the car once I get my GoPro and other cameras back with me. But they are in College Station and I obviously am not. So anyways, taking a look, like I said, it's finished in Fuji white, which is just white. There's no pearl in it at all. So that's a little different from what we're used to, but what really sold us on this one was the Santorini black top. So coming around to the front, you can see you do have bi-xenon HID headlamps, LED turn signals right there, LED fog lights down below right there, and this ring and that ring right there are the daytime running lights. Jaguar Land Rover, or that's kind of Land Rover signature. And if anybody knows what these are for, please tell me. We have tried to figure that out and have no idea. So bi-xenon HID headlamps, like I said, you have your Land Rover badge there. It says Range Rover across the front. Coming down, you do have parking sensors across the bottom there, and you do have a little brushed chrome or silver fascia. It sort of looks like a skid plate, but it's plastic. But this car can go off-road and does very well. I'll talk more about that when we get into the test drive part of this video. So coming to the rims, we have 275/40 R22s wrapped in Continental Cross Contact LX Sport tires. Actually really like these tires. Drove the car home in the pouring rain last night, cleaned it up this morning. Bought it at Land Rover Dallas, one of the best buying experiences we've ever had with a car. And the same can be said for when we bought our Jag at Park Place, luxury, whatever it is, in Dallas. They are nitrogen-filled tires. Upgrading to the 22-inch rims, I believe, gives you upgraded brakes, and this car stops on a dime. You do have functional hood vents here as well as here. You can actually feel the heat coming out of there right now. And it does say Range Rover right there. LED turn signals in the mirrors. You do have blind spot warning integrated into the mirrors right there. You can see the little orange light, means the system's on. Smart key access, you have that on all four doors. Your rocker panels down there are actually integrated into the door, as you can see. When you open it up, the rocker panel goes with it. I think they do that for quietness or something. Again, same size tires all the way around. Four-wheel independent suspension, four-wheel disc brakes. Here's the fuel filler lid. Takes premium gas, 91 octane or better. We usually run 93 in cars that require premium. Taking a look at the back, of course you have your orange LED turn signals. Your fog lights are down there. Dual chrome polished exhaust tips, which sound really good. As I'm sure you heard by the intro, this one is the V6, 3-liter supercharged. The V8, we drove it, absolutely loved it, but it's just, we don't need that much power. 510 horsepower is crazy, but again, I'll talk more about that in a little bit. There's your tail lamps, your brake lamps are right there, and then your reverse lamps there in the middle. Land Rover badge, Range Rover. This is a Sport, obviously. This is the HSE trim. Like I said, chrome polished exhaust tips. This one does have the tow package, and with the tow package, one of the really nice things that I like about having the tow package is you get a full-size rim and spare. So the exact same rim and the exact same tire that's on the four corners now is what you get as a spare. Tons of cargo space back here, and you do have this little cargo shade right here in case you have things you don't want people seeing, and then it just slides forward like that. Rear seats do fold down, but like I said, I'll do a more in-depth video on the car whenever I have time and whenever I have cameras. This is Sunday and I'm going back Monday morning back to College Station, so I'll go ahead and jump inside. Doors are absolutely huge and they're really thick too. This car is extremely safe from what I've been reading. So the interior color we went with is called Lunar. It's basically just a very dark gray, and Lunar is a really good way to describe it. Dark gray seating surfaces, perforated leather, black piping, black accent stitching, and it's going to sit there and ding at me until I get in the car. One thing I do want to point out before I get in is the windows up front are dual pane glass, and I know it's wanting to focus on the concrete and not the glass, but I promise they are dual pane. You do fold the mirrors in just by pressing down on that. That folds the power mirrors in. Of course, you have your power mirrors, all four power windows, all four auto up and down. We'll go ahead and hop in. 3-person memory seating, unlock lock, power window locks as well. Go ahead and cut the hazards. Coming to the steering wheel, it is leather wrapped with perforated sections on either side and a smooth portion up top and at the bottom. It is a heated steering wheel, which works very well. You have your cruise control over here and all your multifunction controls here, as well as your phone and voice command. You have your lights here, front fog lights, rear fog lights, so that's how that works. It does have auto high beam, but that's obviously not going to work unless it's dark. The Jag had that too. That was a really nice feature to have. Basically the same infotainment system that the Jaguar had. We have noticed that this one maybe has a little more processing speed. You can tell it might be a little quicker, but it's still more or less the same. Not the greatest system we've ever used. This one does not have the upgraded Meridian sound system, so the stereo is okay, but it's not phenomenal, but it is better than what was in our Jag. You have tweeters up there on both doors. Full leather stitched and leather wrapped dashboard, leather here. This is actually black up here. This is Lunar right here. And anytime you hear me say Lunar, that means dark gray. I know this camera is not picking up the colors all that well, but it is dark gray. You have all your climate controls and your audio controls right up here, and then you can continue to control it through the screen. You can punch climate, and that'll give you access to your different zones. Actually would like a little bit of air conditioning at the moment because it is a little stuffy. Heated and cooled seats. It's basically same equipment levels as what the Jaguar had. Coming down, this one does have the 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. So how this shifter works is there's a little trigger on the back. You can hear that clicking. Foot on the brake, squeeze the trigger all the way back for drive. One bump forward for neutral. One all the way forward for reverse, and a reverse backup camera appears. It is a tiny bit grainy. Not the best backup camera in the world. And then once you're back in drive, you can bump it over here. This is Sport Automatic. And then if you so desire to shift manually, which works very well, downshift, upshift, and then to go back to park, just press P. Here is your terrain response system. Works very well. Hill descent control. If this one had low range, the button would be right here, but it does not have that. Traction control, your air suspension controls. I'll talk more about that in the test drive. Automatic speed limiter and auto start stop, which is very strange. And a little jerky in this implementation right here. Here is your e-brake cup holders. Cup holders are much better than the Jag. Glove box lid release is up here, but the glove box is down there. We just have assorted crap in there along with the owner's manual. Opening up the center console, it is finished in lunar with black stitching. There is a fridge up underneath there. I don't know why this lighter's in here. I think it was for a birthday party or something that Mom hosted. None of our family smokes. That's nasty. Of course, her pink phone charger. It came with this USB flash drive, but we don't really know what it's for. But like I said, there is a little fridge down here, and that's the switch to power that on. And apparently it works very well and very quickly. I haven't personally tested it yet, but my parents have, and they said it works fine. We got the car yesterday, and it had 22 miles, and it now has 226 miles on it. So we'll go ahead and jump into the back seat real quick. And I know I'm going through this very quickly, but I just wanted to get you all familiar with the car before I'm not able to do absolutely anything on it. Rear seats do fold and recline. There's just this lever right here. Again, lunar, black stitching, black piping, black stitching. Rear seats are heated. There are side airbags. This is sitting behind myself. I'm about 6 feet tall, give or take, depending on what shoes I'm wearing, basically. I have just enough knee room and just enough foot room. It's very comfortable back here, but it's not overly spacious like our truck or a normal Range Rover would be. But like I said, this is the sport doors. You have your lunar stitched leather right here. You have black leather there, lunar here with black stitching. Everything is padded on the doors except for this part right here, and same goes with the front. That's actually soft touch down there. Huge speakers here, and you have two mid-range and a tweeter there. Seat back storage is nothing to write home about, really. Like I said, heated rear seats. You do have rear climate control, but this one does not have the upgraded rear climate. It doesn't have 4-zone automatic like the V8 we drove did. To access your center rear console, just pull down on this. It pulls the center seat down. You do have dual cup holders, as well as a little storage area for pins or wallet or whatever you wanted to put in there. And then just fold that back up when you're done with it. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get a camera set up, which means wedge my iPhone under the headrest and take it for a test drive, and we'll go over a little bit more of the features. So hope you enjoy. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get started with the test drive portion of the car. Like I explained earlier, just keep the key fob inside the vehicle, in your pocket, in your purse, what have you. Foot on the brake, push the engine start button, you'll get a gauge sweep. It'll ding a few times, and then you are ready to go. So like I said, foot on the brake, squeeze the trigger all the way back for drive, which makes sense. But some of the other controls on this are going to take a little bit of getting used to, but that's okay. So setting off, the very first thing you'll notice about driving the Range Rover Sport is how quiet the car is until you get on it. Once you get on it, you really get a nice exhaust rasp. This one sounds a lot like a V6 F-Type to me. Just muted down a little bit. And the next thing you'll notice is how good this thing handles. This thing, I will swear till the day I die, will out-handle the XF that we had. This actually has an adaptive suspension that will pump more air in, like if you're cornering hard left, it'll pump more air in the right side shocks so that your body roll is pretty much none. So I'm going around this tight corner here at some miles per hour, and there's absolutely no body roll. You can tell the car is top heavy, and you can tell it wants to body roll, but the adaptive suspension does such a fantastic job of eliminating that. It's very responsive. The steering is very, very quick. Road feel is, there's some, but I believe this is an electric assist unit, so you don't get a whole lot. But it's definitely there, and what you do get is definitely appreciated. It's not a bad steering system at all. Very quick to respond. This one does not have a dynamic mode like our XF did. So there's no way to really make the car louder except using your right foot, which we will demonstrate here in just a second. I apologize, that is probably glaring to no end, but there's not really a whole lot I can do about it. So this one weighs somewhere around 4,700 pounds, I believe. Ooh, dead squirrel, gross. So we'll go ahead, pop it into sport mode, put it in manual shift, and we will go ahead and pull out here and put our foot down. And that was 60 right there. So with 340 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque, it's not the fastest thing I've ever driven by a long shot, but this car has more than enough power for what we need it to do, and makes a really nice noise too. And it puts a big smile on my face. If you can see my face right now, I am smiling, I promise. It's just such a happy and fun and exciting car to drive. I really like it. Like I said, cruising, really quiet. These are some of the most capable cars too. The things that these cars can do is absolutely mind-blowing. When we were test driving the V8, which happened to be an autobiography, which was stupid expensive, but it was one that had the pimento interior, which, if you don't know Jaguar Land Rover speak, pimento is red and black, and it's pretty stinking fantastic looking interior. It looks great. So I really like that one. The V8 absolutely hauled. 510 horsepower is more than enough to get you in more than enough trouble. So it's really quick. But like I said, this one's no slouch. But when we were test driving the V8, what the salesman did is they have like an off-road course there at the dealership. And so basically what that is just demonstrates that, hey, this is a Land Rover, this thing can go off-road, and we intend for it to go off-road. It was an articulation course for the first half, and then the second bit was a really steep hill climb, which was slightly nerve-wracking, but these cars are so capable. The things that these can do is absolutely ridiculous. This one doesn't have the low range or anything like that, so you can't do absolutely whatever you want in this one. But if you get one that has the low range gearbox, or low range transfer case, whatever the heck it is, and then you put the whatever obstacle you want to put in front of these things will go over it. Ground clearance is fantastic. You have your adjustable air suspension. I'm in normal drive mode right now. I can bump it up one setting, which raises it 3 inches. That's your off-road mode, and I can also drop it down 3 inches for access mode, which makes it easier to get in and out of, obviously. But once the car exceeds 28 miles an hour, it's going to put it in this drive mode, or in this suspension level, no matter what. So go ahead and punch it a little. So that was 60 again, at about 3/4 throttle. And I'm not sure if you could hear the sound changeover or not, but there is like a little valve in the intake that opens up that gives you a deeper intake induction noise, which sounds really nice. You do get a little bit of supercharger whine here and there, but it's nothing excessive or to write home about. So it's just a super inspiring car to drive. It handles extremely well. You would not think that something this big can handle this well and go as quickly as this does. I do think our F-150 is a little quicker, but like I said, this is more than enough for what we need. If we want to go hot rod around, then there's other ways to do that besides romp on our own cars, even though I romp on my own car daily. But anyways, that's besides the point. This is just an incredible car. You do have different terrain response modes, like I said. They're really impressive, and they actually do different things instead of having, oh, I'm going to push this button to make me think I'm going to do better in the snow. No, it actually will do better in the snow. It has torque vectoring, which will send There's the crossover. It's almost like VTEC, but kind of not. I'm not really sure what it is, but there is a definite sound change that happens right around 4,500 RPM. And I'm cruising at 70 miles an hour right here, and that's the speed limit, so I don't want anybody complaining about it. But like I said, I'm cruising at 70 miles an hour, and it's dead silent in here. I could hold a conversation with an old deaf lady or something. And no offense to deaf people, but I mean, it's just that quiet. It's so quiet in here. One thing that is taking me a little bit of getting used to, this one does have a heated windshield. So what that entails is there's little heating elements that run through the windshield, and they look like zigzags, more or less, that run through the glass. And when you have lights oncoming, that is a little strange. But I mean, you get used to it. You just kind of look past them and don't pay them any attention. As far as the ride goes, the ride is definitely stiff, but it's not uncomfortably stiff. You have the 22-inch rims, so it is going to stiffen up the ride a little bit, but it's, like I said, it's not something that's going to rattle your teeth out. It's just a very planted feeling SUV. Planted is probably the best word I can come up with to describe how this car drives. The brakes are phenomenal. The salesman was telling us that Land Rover on these uses a softer brake pad and a softer brake disc as well. And what that'll do is, even though they're not going to last as long, what's going to happen is it's going to stop a whole lot better. And when you have a car that's almost 5,000 pounds, which these are extremely light for what they are, I'd have to look in the door and see what it actually weighs, but it's around 4,500-ish, I think, maybe 4,700. But these are extremely light, and the lightness means you don't need as much power, so that's why it feels as quick as it does. I believe it does 0 to 60 in 7 seconds or so, just kind of depending on your drive mode, your driving style, your location, the weather. There's so many factors that play into 0 to 60 times, but it's no slouch at all. It's not a slow car. There's more than enough power to get you out of trouble, and like I say, with my car, just enough power to get you in trouble. And the V8 it was just an absolute different vehicle. The sound was phenomenal. It sounded like an F-Type Coupe R to me. Maybe a tiny bit quieter, but it absolutely was a brutal sound. It sounded like gunshots coming out the back whenever you put your foot into it. But then once you let off and you're just cruising, it's just as quiet as the 6-cylinder is. So there's no complaints with either engine. We just happen to go with the V6 because fuel economy is better and drivability increases a little bit. The V8 felt a little bit like, oh, come on, I'm gonna go faster. I'm gonna go faster whether you want me to or not. I'm gonna do it. It just felt so eager for you to thrash it, and we just didn't need that much power in a car. I do wish there was an in-between version, maybe like the naturally aspirated V8. Wow, who would have thought keeping that around would be a good idea? But this V6 is plenty motor for us. Plus the supercharger whine is pretty cool. So I'm trying to think what else. I know I've absolutely rambled and rushed my way through this video, but this was spur of the moment, last minute. Like I said, I drove it home last night in the pouring rain from Dallas, which was about 2 hours in the rain. Did completely fine. The all-wheel drive system, it's full-time all-wheel drive. Never missed a beat. Felt completely confident in the car's ability to do what it needs to do. I never felt like I was going to hydroplane, which unlike the Conti Pro contacts or Conti Pro deaths, as some like to call them on our XF, these Continental tires seem to be a very good tire. They have a lot of grooves in them to tread the water out. There's a lot of deep treads too. They're just really good tires, and I know that was probably the derpiest sounding way to describe tires that I've ever done. But It's just, I don't have any bad things to say about this car, really. It's just such a fun thing to drive. There goes what I assume is a kit car, original Shelby Cobra, but it's probably not an original. I don't think there's enough money in this town put together to buy one of those. That's actually not true. There's a lot of interesting vehicles around here. If I have to come up with a complaint, and this is me being extremely nitpicky, the seat bolsters on the bottom might feel a tiny bit narrow, but literally that's all I can come up with. There's nothing else that I can think about that's worth complaining about. It's just an incredible vehicle. Like I said, I'll be sure to give you all a more in-depth tour, a more formal video on it as soon as I'm able to do so. That may be able to be done in a couple of weekends whenever I come home for Easter. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If there's any questions you have on the car, drop them in the comments. If there's anything that you want to see on the car, any specific videos of any specific features, whoa, that was unexpected. If there's any specific videos you want to see of any specific features on the car, please let me know and I'll do my best to get those taken care of. So yeah, whatever you guys want to see on the car, I'll do my best to get that done. Any questions, drop them below. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.